In my previous video, I examined how the sidereal zodiac begins on April 14th, when the Sun and the Earth align with the star Spica. But what about the tropical zodiac? Why does it begin on March 20th? Well, on March 20th is the spring equinox, the day on which there is equal length of night and day. Following this day, the days gradually grow longer and the nights grow shorter. Daylight increases until we get to the summer solstice, which is the maximum point of daylight. So that's what it has to do with. And I'm going to show you some diagrams and some quotes. So the reason this is the case, the variability of daylight and night, the length of those, the reason daylight and nighttime are variable is because of the tilt of the Earth as it goes around the Sun. Here's a quote, and this has to do with declination. As you can see here, declination angle. If the Earth were not tilted on its axis of rotation, declination would always be 0, which is the equator. 0 is the band of the equator. However, the Earth is tilted by 23 degrees, and the declination angle varies plus or minus this amount. Only at the spring and fall equinox is the angle equal to 0. So there you have it. This is the reason why March 20th is the beginning of the tropical zodiacs. It doesn't have to do with seasons or constellations. It has nothing to do with that. The tropical zodiac has to do with the Sun's journey northward and southward relative to the Earth's equator and the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer. But let's get more into this idea of tropics and the equator and how it relates to the Sun and the zodiac, the tropical zodiac. Here we have the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. What this means is the Tropic of Cancer is the summer solstice, the highest point of the Sun in the sky. Have you ever noticed that the Sun in the sky from our position on Earth moves northward and southward? And to get a better understanding, this means that on noon on this day, the summer solstice, if you're standing on this point here on the Earth, the Sun will be directly overhead at noon, adjusted for daylight saving time, depending on where you are. And likewise, in the winter solstice, Christmas, or around Christmas, the Sun will be directly overhead at this point on Earth if you're standing here at noon. But of course, this is not completely accurate because it doesn't have the axis. Here's the axis, the tilt of the axis. So here, this Earth goes around the Sun, and as it goes around the Sun, depending on where you are in the Earth, the Sun can be directly overhead at noon. At the equinoxes, spring and fall, if you're on the equator, you go out at noon, and the Sun will be directly overhead. The rays of the Sun will be hitting parallel, will be going directly across. So here we read, the Tropic of Cancer, also referred to as the Northern Tropic, is the most northerly circle of latitude on Earth, at which the Sun can be directly overhead. Similarly, the Tropic of Capricorn is the same thing. The southernmost position at which the Sun can be directly overhead is the Tropic of Capricorn. When we go back to this chart, that's why at this point begins Cancer. Directly overhead, we begin counting Cancer. So as the Sun journeys north relative to the Earth's equator, begins this tropical sign of Aries. Nothing to do with the constellations or anything else. And it continues all the way till it hits Tropic of Cancer, which begins the sign of Cancer, tropical Cancer. Then again southward to the autumn equinox. And then continues Libra, Scorpio, and so on to the Tropic of Capricorn. Notice how we have holidays associated with these, which is Easter and other holidays around the world associated with these points. Christmas, Tropic of Capricorn. This is Christmas. And other things too. For instance, Scorpio, Halloween. Halloween falls in tropical Scorpio. If you look at the sidereal placement, Halloween does not fall in sidereal Scorpio. And Halloween is not just an American holiday. It's all over the world. Day of the Dead. Tropical Scorpio. Sign of death, transformation. But okay. Another thing I want to show you is that this line here, the equator, is not some imaginary thing. It is a real scientific, a real phenomenon, which is the polarity of the Earth, the North Pole and the South Pole, and the Sun's relationship to it. And I'm going to show you a video to see how relevant this is. Here it is. Here's the line of the equator. And they're going to do an experiment to see the relevance of these placements. The sun above this line or beneath this line directly above at noon. So here it is. Let's watch. And I've turned down the volume because they speak in Spanish. I'm going to narrate what they're going to be doing. So like field. Now they're going to go in the other direction, just a few feet over. And now it spins in the opposite direction. So this is what the tropical zodiac is based on. The Earth's magnetic field and the sun's relationship to it. Here is the experiment demonstrating the relevance of the equator and the Earth's magnetic field. But okay, so a few things that I want to talk about is this idea that the tropical zodiac is based on the seasons. You hear people say this. You even hear tropical astrologers say that the tropical zodiac is based on the seasons. But I suggest to you that it is not based on the seasons. Because if that were true, then the signs would be reversed in the southern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it is winter when it is summer in the north. Likewise, it is winter in the southern hemisphere when it is summer in the north. And further, along the Earth's equator, there is no season. There's only wet and dry season. There is no summer, winter, fall on the equator. So what do you do then? I don't think that people adjust the signs for that because it's not based on the seasons. There is correlation between the seasons and Earth's declination and Tropic of Cancer, as we know, but that's not what the tropical zodiac is following. Another thing, this idea about the precession of the equinoxes and the Earth's wobble shifting the constellations around. People try to claim that the tropical zodiac is wrong because it doesn't follow the constellations. If you are a tropical astrologer, you do not believe this. You do not believe that the constellations are your tropical signs. Because if you did, you wouldn't be doing tropical astrology. You'd be doing something else. And many people have done this. They say, well, I'm going to try to follow the constellations. And sidereal, I've been told, follows the constellations. So that's what I'm going to do. I shift over. But as I have demonstrated in my previous video, the sidereal zodiac also does not follow the constellations. It overlaps a little bit more. It overlaps more here and there, but it does not follow the constellations. If you see this video that I made, I demonstrated how the first degree of sidereal Aries falls in the constellation of Pisces, and the first degree of sidereal Libra falls in the constellation of Virgo. So the tropical astrologer is not concerned, it's not worried at all about the precession of the equinoxes and the shifting of the constellations relative to the Earth. It is the sidereal astrologers who have to keep adjusting for the precession of the equinoxes. In any case, I am not saying that either one is wrong or right. There are both valid points of view. The important thing is to understand and to know how to use each one or the other.